Hello, welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about some of the impacts of Go 1.27. This is an important video. If you are interested in web framework, if you are interested in API design, this video is for you. So let me take you back to what we used to do before Go 1.27 came. This framework, Huma, is a very good example of what I'm about to show to you. So let's go to my IDE. Let me show you what is happening. This is Huma. It's a simple web framework that you can use to build web applications, and you can use it with any router. So it works with Chai, it works with Gym, it works with a standard library. But here is the thing. Naturally, in Go, when you want to create a HTTP handler, it takes let's quickly do a handle func. So this is the natural structure of a Go HTTP handler. It's basically a function that takes http.response-writer and a pointer to http.request. Very simple. Nothing is wrong with this. It's working. But here is the sort of what, if you are coming from Java, if you are coming from C#, what is common out there? And Huma is doing something like that. That's what I want to show you in this video, and how I think is going to look with the release of Go 1.27. I think they are going to make the changes, but let me show you what is going on. First, I'll clear this out. So if you look at this, so we created router, which is the sort of this router basically implements the routing engine and all that, right? Now, Huma, we created a Huma framework. This is the core. So we call it API, the variable API. Then we pass the variable to this get function that they have. But here's what is going on. Did you notice that get first parameter is API? So they are passing in the framework call as the first parameter. There is a reason why they are doing that. It's actually the limitation of Go 1.26 down. That is why. Then the second parameter, of course, is the path and then the callback. But there is something even more interesting about the callback. Did you see that the callback is very specific? You can pass it a type and then it returns user and then error. Let me undo my code quickly. I want to undo the code we wrote earlier. Look at this function. It doesn't return anything. The same thing, if you look at Gym, if I do, let's go to the browser. If you look at the Gym framework, you see this is the handler. It doesn't return anything, but this Huma returns something. This is the data that you are returning to the browser. And this is very important. This is, for me, it's super good. That means if you come here, you make a mistake. Let's say you come here and you change this to maybe to contact, to something like this. This is not going to work. It's saying that this is not what you promised. You promised that you would return a user. Why are you returning a contact? This idea is not new. This is exactly how, if you program in .NET, if you program in Java, this is how their handlers or controllers work. You specify your input, you specify your output. Everything is sort of encapsulated inside these objects. So how can we adjust this API a little bit? Now, when they were designing this API, they were forced, in my opinion, I think they were forced to use package level functions instead of the get belonging to this API, which is a core. It belongs to the package instead. So if I click on it, this is it. You see that get is a function and the function has the generics. Why? Because it was impossible before to add this get to the API type and then at the same time add the generics. But with Go 1.27, we can do that. So I want to show you how we can do that. All right. This code, of course, is going to work, but this is not why we're here. I want to show you how this API would look in Go 1.27. So I prepared something ahead. I prepared a small router, which I'm going to show you, but let's write the code. So router, new router. Then the router will be passed in here. Nothing much has changed. And then here I can say router dot post, pass the path can be users. Then I'm just going to pass it the callback, or there is actually a handler. I'm going to show you, but I want you to just focus on the signature for a minute. Now, this is very similar to what we saw in Huma. The same thing actually. I can change it to API. We named it API, right? But the difference is that the post we have here belongs to the framework itself. So if I hover here, you see that the router owns the post. And we are going into the code now for me to show you. But before we go, I want to run the code so you can see that it works. So I can run the code, right? And then I want to go to, this is /user. So I run it and you see it works. All right. Now let's go into the code and let me show you what I'm doing. I have a little bit of some housekeeping thing here. This is a result. It's a generic type. So it has these generics that you can use to set the body to anything that you want, right? And then there is created here, which basically set HTTP status and then pass the body down. So this is the most useful part. And then this is the structure of our handler, basically the signature. There is an input and output, then it takes a context. We pass the input, then we wrapped the out in result. The codec part you can ignore, but basically it's just for us to encode and decode JSON here. And here is our router. You could call this framework anything you like. Basically, we have a field that points to the serve mux and then the codec that we are using to decode and encode JSON. Then the most important part here, we have the constructor. We implement the self HTTP. That is, if you don't implement self HTTP, you cannot pass it here. So that's very important. So that's why we implemented it. But look at our post method. Here is the whole thing. The router now owns this method. As you can see here, this is where Go 1.27 come into play. The whole thing, all this video is about how we are able to do these generics here and how we can pass in the handler that returns something. And in it, I'm not doing anything special. I'm still calling handle func. I'm still passing the same response writer and request and doing everything inside here. But what will you get from this is this. Our custom HTTP handler is now something that supports input and output. So it's like a normal function. That means you can test this in isolation by just passing this input, and then you can do your assertions on the output. So it's way, way easier to test it. You don't even touch the you don't touch these low-level APIs yet. You can test this out completely on its own, and then you have the types here. This is what I think will start happening very soon. That I'm going to undo now to go back to that Huma. I can undo to go back to that Huma, and so this is Huma. So basically, what I think is going to happen is for Huma, when they decide to refactor maybe a different version of the framework, they probably would. So this is what they are using for routing, right? So if I am going to redesign the framework, what I would do is this. So this is API is fine. I'm going to bring the API here. That means the get will now belongs to the API. We no longer need the API as the first parameter. We're going to keep the structure like this. See? Here as well, we will be able to pass the API in here, that means here we don't need to, we can do it like this, or you can pass some options, right? But it can be like this. So in short, you can just make it like this. And this, if I'm going to refactor the framework, this is what it's going to look like. Right now, this is not going to work, but because Go 1.27 now allow us to do the generic, that means what they have here in let me put Huma.get. I'm just typing it out so I can click to go to it. So what they have in here can be moved to the type, and this is it. So basically, I think this can be also done for gene, for chai, for all that, because I think there is a lot of value in this type that we have here, your input type and your output type. There's a lot of value, but let me show you something. You are probably thinking that, okay, maybe it limits you, it takes you away from the standard library. No, that's not the case. Let me show you why. Let's go back to what we had. This is our router. If I want to use the standard library, sure, I can do it if I want. The mux is inside, so I can do handle func. You see, I can do users, and then I can pass the other one. And this is still going to work. There's nothing is broken. We didn't change anything. The internally is still working, users endpoint. And if I start the server, this is going to work. So you don't really lose anything. The thing, if you want, you can, expose the mux and allow people to use the standard library if they want to use it, or if they want to take advantage of the type for input and output, they can as well do that using this approach that we have, which I think is powerful. And you can do the input here. Of course, we have the create user that we already have here. So this is the video. My prediction is that Go 1.27 is going to change how APIs look. I think even the Go standard library, some of them are going to change as well. But we'll see how it goes. So thank you so much for watching. Today is not a lot of coding. I was just thinking about this, and I said, okay, let me make a video for you guys about it. So let me know what you think in the comment. If you have been researching about this, please let me know what you think in the comment, and I will see you in the next video.